crisscrosses in a row, and a camera under black cloth where the morning people go. I took pictures for the grieving, kept my silver plates wiped clean, made the dead look almost peaceful, made the widows pay to dream. Then a mother brought her daughter braids still tied with Sunday thread, said, "Sir, make her look like sleeping," but I knew why she was dead. Hold still, let the dark glass take its fill. Some faces don't stay buried when the shutter drinks its will. If your hands have moved the sorrow, if your lies have dressed the slain, the tintype keeps your shadow and gives back your name. Father was the cattle king with judges in his vest. He paid me off and folded bills to hide the bruise beneath her dress. I painted roses on her cheeks, set a ribbon near her chin, but the plate came out with both her eyes wide open, looking in. Hold still, let the dark glass take its fill. Some faces don't stay buried when the shutter drinks its will. If your hands have moved the sorrow, if your lies have dressed the slain, the tintype keeps your shadow and gives back your name. Last night inside my dark room, the trays turned black as tar. Every picture I had taken showed that girl beneath the star. She stood behind the cattle king, her braid across his throat, and in the corner of each picture was my hand inside his coat. Hold still, let the truth come sharp and still. No brush can rouge a murder, no coin can pay God's bill. When they find my camera empty by the graveyard in the rain, look close at the last tintype, you'll see who took the blame. Bone Orchard had no apple trees, but something bloomed that night. One girl smiled from a silver plate, and the cattle king turned white. Red moon hung on a broken steeple. Wind came crawling through the town. My horse knew better than to follow, but I pulled his reins around. There's a grave out past the dry wash with no name upon the stone. I put one bullet in my pocket and one secret in my bones. The saloon door swung like warnings, though the bar had long gone cold. On the wall my wanted poster looked a younger kind of old. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. When the dust comes down on this God-left town, let the vultures take my plea. I rode too far from mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring for me. I loved a girl with hands like water, eyes like lanterns in the rain. But I traded one soft promise for a pistol and a name. Her letter's still inside my coat, creased where I folded shame. She wrote, "Come home before the sun set." I came back beneath the flame. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. When the dust comes down on this God-left town, let the vultures take my plea. I rode too far from mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring for me. By the cracked bell tower I heard her sing, soft as ash across the plain. My black horse bowed like he'd seen an angel or a ghost that knew my name. I laid my pistol by the marker, put my hat down in the sand. Then the wind picked up behind me like a judgment raising hands. Oh, the bell won't ring for me, not in the morning, not at 3. If they find my coat by the desert road, leave that letter where it sleeps. I rode too far from mercy, now mercy rides from me. Oh, the bell won't ring, the bell won't ring for me. At dawn they found my saddle and hoof prints heading east. But the horse came back without me, and the bell still held its peace. Judas Forge stood by the wash road where the coal smoke kissed the moon, and one bent horseshoe on the anvil rang each night at 2:30. I was blacksmith for the county, hammer, tongs, and leather hand. I could tell a man by hoof prints better than his wedding band. And 2 riders came at sundown with a sack of stolen pay, said, "Turn our tracks around, old man, and we'll make your trouble gray." Hammer low, Judas Forge, let the iron tell the tale. Every nail I drove for silver put an innocent man in jail. When the horseshoe rings at midnight and the coals burn white and cold, there's a hoof print in the ashes where the truth comes back for gold. I shod their horses backward and made the trail lie through the clay. The posse followed crooked marks and dragged young Willard Gray. His wife came to my doorway with his supper in a pail. Said he was mending fence till moonrise. I kept hammering the nail. Hammer low, Judas forge, let the iron tell the tale. Every nail I drove for silver put an innocent man in jail. When the horseshoe rings at midnight and the coals burn white and cold, there's a hoof print in the ashes where the truth comes back for gold. Last night the bellows breathed alone, though no hand pulled the chain. The gray horse stood inside the fire with no bridle and no mane. And Willard's voice came through the smoke, soft as rain on rust. Turn the shoe the right way, blacksmith, or wear your lie through dust. Hammer low, Judas forge, now the iron knows my name. No crooked track stays hidden when the dead walk through the flame. If they find my apron hanging where the coal and cinders rolled, say the hoof prints all turned forward when the truth came back for gold. Judas forge stands cold by morning, but folks still hear it soon. One bent horseshoe on the anvil, ringing out at 2:30. Devil's Gate, the fences lean like old men full of blame, and a branding iron in the ashes still glows without a flame. I rode for Colonel Maddox, kept his cattle, kept his lies, changed the marks on stolen heifers under blood-red morning skies. A widow's herd went missing when the winter killed her grain. I burned our sign across her future and rode off before the rain. Burn, burn black iron, right what men deny. Smoke don't rise to heaven when it knows the reason why. If you steal another's bread and call the hunger fate, you'll wear the last brand burning down at Devil's Gate. Her little boy came barefoot with a rope around his hand, said, "Mister, have you seen our cattle? Mama can't keep this land." I gave him half a nickel and a lie wrapped up in dust. That night his empty supper plate turned red along the crust. Burn, burn black iron, right what men deny. Smoke don't rise to heaven when it knows the reason why. If you steal another's bread and call the hunger fate, you'll wear the last brand burning down at Devil's found that branding iron, buried cold beneath my bed. It hissed my name against the floorboards like a coal that wasn't dead. Then I saw her herd go passing through the wall and through the rain. Every steer had hollow eyes and every horn wore flame. Burn, burn, black iron, press me clean and deep. Some men sell the hungry, then go praying in their sleep. No grave can hide a hand that took more than it ate. I'll bear the last brand burning down at Devil's Gate. At dawn they found the pasture still, no hoof print, hide or bone, just one black mark on the gatepost, in my saddle smoking alone. Vulturage don't keep a post road, no rider takes that climb, but a mailbag swings from a mesquite limb and creaks like borrowed time. I carried letters out of Tucson, rain or sand or rifle fire. Folks would wait beside the depot with their hopes strung tight as wire. One sealed note came marked urgent for a woman dressed in blue. Her husband wrote, "Don't trust the captain, he means to sell the crew." Swing low, old mailbag, swing against the thorn. There's a letter never opened and a widow never warned. If the wax seal starts to bleeding when the moon pulls up the dead, Vulturage will read your name from every word unsaid. The captain paid me $20 and a horse with silver reins. Said, "Lose that note by morning, boy, and speak no woman's name." So I buried it beneath my saddle, rode past her waiting light. By dawn the wagon camp was ashes and the blue dress burned half white. Swing low, old mailbag, swing against the thorn. There's a letter never opened and a widow never warned. If the wax seal starts to bleeding when the moon pulls up the dead, Vulturage will read your name from every word unsaid. Last night I heard hooves behind me where no living horse could run. Then that mailbag hit my shoulder, heavy as a preacher's gun. Inside were all the letters I had stolen, sold, or burned, and hers was warm as breathing, like her hand had just returned. Swing low, old mailbag, let the desert have its say. Some men don't pull the trigger, they just carry truth away. If they find me near the mesquite with black wax on my head, tell the rich I finally answered for every word unsaid. Vulture Ridge don't keep a post road, but it's sundown plain and clear. You can hear a woman reading what I should've let her hear. Cinder Hotel stands roofless where the stage road bends away, but a piano plays at sundown, though its keys are burned to gray. I own the place in harvest season, kept the ledger, kept the wine. When debts came riding through my doorway, I made fire look like time. There were 7 rooms above me, 7 souls asleep upstairs. I struck one match behind the kitchen and left smoke to say my prayers. Play low, old piano, play soft beneath the flame. Every note is a footstep coming back to call my name. If you hear that blackwood singing where the desert coyotes cry, don't ask who lit the evening, ask who watched the people die. A bride was bound for Tucson with orange blossoms in her hair. A drummer had a silver watch, a preacher had a chair. A little girl left one red mitten on the landing by the door. I stepped across it running and heard her coughing through the floor. Play low, old piano, play soft beneath the flame. Every note is a footstep coming back to call my name. If you hear that blackwood singing where the desert coyotes cry, don't ask who lit the evening, ask who watched the people die. Last night I rode past Cinder with my beard gone winter white. The piano played my wedding song in the ashes of the night. Then 7 doors stood open where no walls had stood for years, and that red mitten on the stairway waved me closer through the tears. Play low, old piano, play soft and never tired. I sold 7 sleeping strangers for a pocket full of fire. If they find my horse at sunrise with no rider, rain or cry, tell them Cinder kept the music for the men who watched them die. Cinder Hotel stands roofless where the stage road bends away. Now the piano plays at sunrise, and one more key is gray. In a chapel west of Dry Cross, where the roof lets in the sand, there's a Bible on the pulpit with a bullet through its hand. I was preacher to the guilty, kept their secrets, took their bread. Men would kneel with dust on their boots, leave with lighter hearts instead. And my own son came at midnight with his shirt all dark and torn. Said, "Pa, I left a man not breathing by the fence line in the storm." Turn the page, turn it slow. There are things the Lord will know. You can hide a body under stone, you can wash a knife in snow, but the word don't die from silence, and the grave don't keep control. There's a Bible with a bullet hole reading judgment to my soul. I took his pistol from the table, wrapped the barrel in my coat, buried truth beneath the floorboards where I preached on saving hope. They blamed a drifter out of Laredo with a scar beneath one eye. He said, "Preacher, tell them different," but I let the poor man die. Turn the page, turn it slow. There are things the Lord will know. You can hide a body under stone, you can wash a knife in snow, but the word don't die from silence, and the grave don't keep control. There's a Bible with a bullet hole reading judgment to my soul. Last night the chapel filled with hoof dust, though the door stayed nailed and tight. That drifter stood beside the altar with no shadow in the light. He didn't curse me, didn't touch me, only pointed to the floor, and the Bible split wide open to the sin I paid for. Turn the page, turn it slow. Let the desert witness know I love my blood more than mercy. Now mercy won't let go. If they find me by the pulpit with my son's name carved in coal, leave that Bible with a bullet hole reading judgment to my soul. At dawn the chapel door swung open, and the floorboards all lay bare. No preacher, son, or drifter, just one spent shell on the chair. No tracks run west of Hollow Mesa, no station lights the plain. But every year on All Souls Evening, you can hear a midnight train. I was hired to guard a strong box full of silver, deeds, and gold. The banker said no man will know it, but greed don't do what it is told. 5 riders came with flour sack faces. I knew each voice by name. I kept my rifle pointed downward while the passengers screamed in flame. Lord, don't stop that train for me. Let it thunder past the stone. There's a ticket in my pocket for a seat I don't want owned. If the whistle starts a-wailing where no iron rails remain, you best pray you ain't been summoned by the train beneath the mesa. A mother held her baby crying. A preacher clutched his book. I saw the fire take the curtains, and I still turned back to look. They gave me half the stolen silver, wrapped in canvas stained with smoke. I bought a ranch near San Lorenzo, but no seed I planted woke. Lord, don't stop that train for me. Let it thunder past the stone. There's a ticket in my pocket for a seat I don't want owned. If the whistle starts a-wailing where no iron rails remain, you best pray you ain't been summoned by the train beneath the mesa. Now the cattle won't cross water, and the well gives only rust. My wife hears wheels at supper, dragging sparks across the dust. Last night I found a burned out lantern swinging cold above my gate, and a child's small handprint in the ashes on the silver dinner plate. Lord, don't stop that train for me, but it's slowing by the stone. There's a conductor with no eyelids calling, passenger, come home. I can smell the smoke of judgment, I can hear the couplings chain. Tonight I pay the fare forever on the train beneath the mesa. At dawn they found my ranch house empty. All the silver turned to black, and out past Hollow Mesa there were fresh rails in the sand. Out by Widow Flats, the windmill turns against the desert air. No hand has fixed its broken wheel, but something keeps it there. I was deputy under Harlan, kept the jail keys on a chain, locked 3 strangers in the cell house when the dust storm swallowed rain. They begged me through the iron, said the sheriff set the fire, but I took his badge and money and called every dead man liar. Round, round, backward, turn that iron slow. The wind knows where the bones are, where the guilty rivers go. If you hear that wheel at midnight crying like a rusted crown, there's a deputy in Widow Flats the wind keeps wearing down. One had boots with copper buckles, one kept letters in his vest, one just hummed a hymn for Mama with a tin star on his chest. By morning all the jail was ashes, and the sheriff rode away. I stood there with his bloody payroll while the town knelt down to pray. Round, round, backward, turn that iron slow. The wind knows where the bones are, where the guilty rivers go. If you hear that wheel at midnight crying like a rusted crown, there's a deputy in Widow Flats the wind keeps wearing down. Last night my key ring started turning on the nail above my bed. Every key was hot as branding, every tooth was painted red. Then the windmill groaned my title through a mouth of dust and wire, and 3 men walked beneath it with their shadows full of fire. Turn that iron slow. No badge can bless a coward when the buried testimonies grow. If they find my keys at sunrise, where the ashes meet the ground, tell them I went answering where the wind keeps turning round. Out by Widow Flats the windmill turns against the desert air, and every time it faces east, 3 dead men whisper there.